But Nana must go. And guess what? That's the resolve of the private legal practitioner, Martin Pebu, as he announces that all is set for the massive protest that Kume Preko reloaded. It's happening in the next 24 hours. The outspoken critic of President Akufo-Addo says the wanton corruption and mismanagement gives a clear indication that Ghanaians can no longer wait until the end of the 4-year term of President Akufo-Addo. Lawyer Martin Pebu says that after tomorrow's protest, the president, together with his vice president, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, ought to leave office immediately to pave way for the constitutional provisions for his replacement to set in motion.
Reckless borrowing and other forms of misgovernance by President Akufo-Addo. We are dying. Citizens are dying. Citizens can't afford food. Citizens are starving, all because of malgovernance by President Akufo-Addo. It's never happened that you have a president in office and every time that the country borrows, the president's family becomes richer. How? Every time the country borrows, the president's family becomes richer. How? This can't continue. It's not, Ghana doesn't belong to President Akufo-Addo's family. We can't borrow all the time and have data bank becoming richer all the time. The country becomes poorer and data bank becomes richer. This, without more, is sufficient for President Akufo-Addo to resign. You see how the incentive to borrow, because his family will become richer, has led us to overborrow, and today our cedi has totally collapsed. That now, when you need $1, you need at least 14 Ghana cedis. When at the beginning of the year, $1 was just 6 cedis, 40 pesos. This has never happened. And so to that extent, based on Article 35 of our Constitution, which asks for probity, accountability, etc., which are also repeated in the preamble of the Constitution, citizens have a duty, as stated in Article 41, to ask the president to resign. And this is not the first time that a president of Ghana is going to resign. In natural fact, in the 60s, Lieutenant General Ankara resigned over a matter of 6,000 Ghana cedis that he's alleged to have used to bribe somebody organizing an opinion poll so that he can be declared as the most popular person in Ghana. You say, so, ladies and gentlemen, where we are as at now in Ghana, the situation is so dire that the best thing is for President Akufo-Addo to take responsibility and to resign with his vice president, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Indeed, the Constitution has envisaged such a situation. That's why it's provided in Article 66 that the president may resign from office. The vice president may resign as well. So Article 66 says that the president has to just simply give his resignation to the Speaker of Parliament. And so that's the same thing Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will do. The phantom economic wastegate, right? And Article 60, Clause 13 makes it clear that when the president and the vice are gone, the Speaker must take office for only 3 months. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, for only 3 months. And within that 3 months, the Electoral Commission must organize fresh elections. So it means that we'll have a new president within the 3 months. That's to say that today, 4th November, if President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia were to resign, it means that latest by 4th of February, a new president will be sworn in. So we would have had the elections and a new president sworn in. And look, people of Ghana, please, let's not despair. Let's go for it. Let Akufo-Addo and Bawumia resign. Look, you'll be amazed at how the international community will welcome this new development, that our democracy would have been strengthened, that the president would have listened to the cry of the masses and resigned. And as a result of this, you'll be amazed at how much goodwill we will gain. Our debt, the new president can renegotiate for extension and all the other things that it will require. Trust me, when such a momentous event occurs.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is also important to note that it is not in our interest to have this protest getting marred by violence, because in the end, it would divert opinions from the main crux of the matter to the violence.
Except from the press address there. Let me bring in Adib Sani, who you just saw in the shots there. And Adib, you were making some claims at the news conference earlier today that your group has intelligence that there may be infiltration targeted at causing mayhem when the protest takes off tomorrow. What evidence do you have to that effect?
Well, it is an intelligence. It is information we're picking up. And the fact that I spoke about it only seeks to educate whoever is coming to the protest grounds to be on the lookout. We need to obey the rules. We need to follow the protocols. And if you see any individual causing trouble, then definitely the person is not part of us and should be handed over to the appropriate authorities. In the past, during demonstrations such as the one organized by Arise Ghana, there were allegations that, yes, indeed, there were certain individuals who were not supposed to be part of the protest, but were there to cause trouble. So the narrative would turn against the reason they were there in the first place. Yeah. So this is just a word of
talking
caution.
About allegations here. I'm asking for concrete evidence pointing to your claims.
Well, Sogah, it will be impossible for me to provide that evidence on TV. Like I indicated, it is an intelligence we've picked up. As simple as that. But I cannot, within this material moment, present to you the evidence. But surely it is something that we are looking to, and I'm hoping that in the end we wouldn't have issues whatsoever.
And obviously, looking at your call, you are asking the president to resign after tomorrow's protest. The belief is, given what you are asking for, you may further radicalize the youth against authority.
Well, we are a country that is governed by the rule of law. Our democracy is entrenched. We are one of the most peaceful countries in Africa. There are a lot of issues, a plethora of economic issues. And if we are going to go by what the ordinary Ghanaian is going through today, if we were not peaceful, we would have had people in the streets causing trouble. But in line with our democratic rights, we feel that no, instead of having people in the streets perpetrating all sorts of crimes in the name of economic mismanagement or in the name of the fact that they are suffering, why don't we protest peacefully and get politicians to understand that we hire them and we can fire them? Get politicians to understand that they have no power from nowhere because we give them the power, very consistent with the definition of democracy: rule for the people, by the people, and for the people. And we have to take that into consideration. So this is just a representation of the voices of the people. We need to stop bickering and come out and demonstrate our frustration over what is going on, rather than sit on the fence, fold our arms, and turn a blind eye to what's going on.
You're a security analyst, and you're quite aware and conversant with what's happening elsewhere, even in our sub-region, neighboring Burkina Faso as well, and other countries experiencing turmoil. The belief is that you should be using a more diplomatic approach in asking the president to do what you're simply asking him to do: pack out of office.
There is nothing diplomatic as what we intend doing tomorrow. It's a protest. It's within our democratic rights. We went through all the protocols. We went through what is enshrined in the Public Order Act, giving the police 5 days clear notice. The police has gotten back to us. We've agreed in principle what route to use, what time to gather. And we are appealing to whoever is coming to be very peaceful. And at the news conference, I also stated that we don't want anyone to come there with an offensive weapon, whether it is a sharp instrument or a pointed instrument or even a gun. Nobody is supposed to bear a gun, okay, or bear arms, all right? So I think this is the most peaceful, most democratic way of getting politicians to understand that the people are angry. You sit in the trotros, you sit in the taxes, the level of frustration, the kind of things people say. So when we come out to even demonstrate in the first place, and get it off our chest. It's a way of calming us down. But when people are complaining and they are angry about what is going on and you gag them, then you are creating an explosive charge which can blow up in your face and you wouldn't like what it will come with. And a clear case in point is the Arab Spring. Tunisia, Libya, Egypt, where their rulers were very hard-fisted. What happened? Okay, so let the people
but
express their frustration.
Your leadership doesn't seem to be learning the lessons, are they? Because you look at the artwork, for instance, for tomorrow's demonstration, you're leveraging on the death of an individual here in the country who says he's fed up with the economic crisis. That's how similar events were in the Arab Spring. So you should be learning much more and picking up lessons to say, well, let's tone down on our rhetoric. Okay, so the Arab Spring, like you rightly mentioned, was started by a street seller who was being removed. But he said, hey, this is my only source of income. So he decided to douse himself in an accelerant and burnt himself, and that's what started the Arab Spring, okay? And already, people are suffering but cannot complain. So they've built it up in themselves. But the fact that we are coming out to express our frustration is enough to calm people's nerves and to get people to understand that, yes, indeed, they wield the power. But once they are complaining and they are suffering and you stop them from talking, it becomes a bit of a problem. But what we seek to achieve, okay, is to represent the voices of Ghanaians. I've received countless calls from other parts of the country. They are willing to be part. They are asking that we devolve it, so all regions can take part in the demonstration concurrently. So if nothing is done about our demands, we intend petitioning Parliament, which is also very in line with our democratic tenets, to start impeachment proceedings. Okay, and we also intend expanding the scope to other parts of the country. But one thing is for sure, it is through peaceful means. Right, it is an absolute no to violence. Adib Sani, thank you. We'll see you tomorrow at the demonstration. Of course.